in D by Bach. This is an arrangement by Alexander Silati. And what an arrangement it is. He really captures the divinity, the cleansing quality of this piece beautifully. I love this music, and I appreciate it a lot when good pianists, great pianists of history, arrange orchestral music for the keyboard. So I'll begin by playing through the first section, the first few bars, give you a sense of what we're up against, and then I'll take you through bar by bar, and I'll break it apart so you can learn it yourself. So here's what the music sounds like on piano. Upward and onward. Yes, this is as good a place to stop as any. The first thing to notice about this piece is really that the left hand is like the heartbeat. It's always there. I think it could be considered 8/8 time instead of 4/4 time. It's a little bit cleaner and more intuitive to think of it in terms of the beats of eighth notes instead of quarters. So when I teach this to you, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count to 8 on each of these bars. And depending on the subdivisions that exist in the right hand, I might subdivide each of those into 4 sections, divisions, or 2. So for example, I might say 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and where it calls for this type of subdivision, or I might do it just in 2. 1 and 2 and 3. I say that right off the bat because I'll have to oscillate between these. Sometimes it's very straightforward. The rhythm is really regular and it doesn't deviate into 30-second notes, for example, but sometimes it does. And when it does, that's what I'll be doing. Just don't want to confuse anybody. So the piece in D major will begin with the left hand in octaves. And as I said, this is your heartbeat. This is the thing that is ever churning. The first part of this tutorial is going to be on YouTube. Some of them are going to be on YouTube. But if you want to learn the whole thing, if you want access to all of the tutorials of this series, it's going to be in my library. So hop on over there and have a look. Yeah, it's a free trial. You can try it out for free, and you'll have access to this piece and everything else I've ever done. And if you like it, hang out. If not, don't worry about it. You won't be charged a cent. So let's get to it. Left hand starts, octave D, and everything is going to be in octave form for the first 2 bars before we start with any sort of intricacies in the middle. D octave then rises to an octave above, 4/1 drops to C sharp, and then drop down an octave. Next, B octave, up an octave, drop to A, and down an octave. Very regular, very intuitive. All of these eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the right hand, I might suggest that you begin with 1, 2, and 4. And this takes care of half of the bar, followed by B minor. Thumb moves up from A to B. Top 2 notes remain, and that takes care of the rest of the bar. So when you put them together, very gingerly, very conscientiously, carefully. Together. Easy enough. Now the pedaling. Because we're moving around so much in tones and semitones, we're going to need to clean the pedal up as you play all of this. So the pedal starts depressed. Change. 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 There's your first bar. Moving on. So left hand first. We finished the previous bar on A. We then move on to the next bar, G octave. Octave higher. All of these are eighths still, the same heartbeat. Octave 5 and 1, the 2 in between. Drop down an octave. I tend to use 4 and 1. You can also use 3 and 1, 4 and 1, 5 and 1, 4 and 5, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But I tend to use 4 whenever I have black notes. So. Next. A octave. Up an octave. Drop to G, and down an octave. That bar once more. Take a few moments, learn that, memorize it. And with the pedaling, you can use the first bar as a sort of template for when to pedal. Essentially, whenever you start to introduce chromatic dissonance, which is going to be all over the place, that's when you're going to need to change pedals. So this bar again with the pedal changes. Change. 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 Essentially the pattern for now, and it will be this for much of this piece. Pedal change occurs every 2/8. Alrighty, now the right hand. So where are we coming from? This was our previous bar, right? Now as we move into the next bar, we have a tied number of notes. So these notes carry into the next bar, keeping them held, and then so that's 5/4. Don't worry about the rhythm for now. This should feel a little bit like a very low energy grace note. It's not too fast, very calm. Embellishment, 5/4. The 5 and 1 come together and drop to 4. Connect those two, lift, arrive in position. To 3. Next. 2, 3, lift. 4, 2, 1. Hold that for a little bit, for 2/8, and then and even slower kind of embellishment. 5, 2, and 1, and the 5 dropping to 4. Once you're on 4, what you'll do is switch while holding to a thumb, so that the next note in the next bar will be an A with the pinky, and you'll be able to reach it. So once more, stitched up, lift, hold, switch, and you're ready. Take some time, practice that. Make sure all of the moves are comfortable and that you're really deliberate and exact about the fingering. It's kind of important to get that stuff right early on. So now, when we put this together, what you'll have for the most part is 2 notes in the right hand for every 1 in the left. Whenever you have quicker notes in the right, that will be the schematic. So if we backtrack to the end of the previous bar, and now entering this new bar, left is alone to start. Two on the right for 1 on the left. Next. Once more. Put that together. Next. Here too, we have 2 on the right for 1 on the left, and then a line together. So get that basic alignment right, and then come back to this video. Here it is again, but with the counts. Now, as I said before, we're going to make some subdivisions, and here we'll do it in subdivisions of 2. 1 and 2, and etc. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and that's what you're after. You can kind of do this by ear, mostly, because if you're playing this piece or learning this piece, you almost certainly know it really well. You've listened to it a billion times. But if you want to make sure that all of this falls correctly, then do what I just did. Count aloud and practice it with the counts so that everything falls in the right place. I just said that 2 times. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and not too shabby. There you have it. So when we put both of these bars together, no counts. Very soothing, yeah? Nothing aggressive. All your movements should be calm. And then on we go into the next bar. So this next bar and whatever comes after it will be covered in the rest of the tutorial. So I'll see you all there. Let's continue and start to make sense of more of this piece. See you in just a bit.